Cecil, I hope you're having a great afternoon. Welcome into the game. All right.
Hello, Ryan. How are you
Yeah,
today?
yeah, there you are. There you are. Doing great.
Good.
Getting ready to talk a little Alabama football as we lead into a big weekend. And I think you said it best, even though you wanted to remain nameless on the Twitter account, but I think you identified something about
my Twitter account, but hard to do.
yes. But as you pointed out, another daytime game in September, and kind of piggyback for those who may have not saw your tweet, because I think it's something that we may try to highlight as we travel throughout the afternoon.
Well, the original tweet was just about, it's probably be 97, 98 degrees on Saturday in a day game. And, if that randomly happens because of the TV sponsors, if that happened 6 times out of 12 games, non-conference September games, doesn't matter in November. You want a day game. We're talking about before the autumnal. We're talking about games that are being played in the summer. These games are being played. Today is the summer, and they're going to play at 3:00. And again, I understand the television contracts, and if that randomly happened half the time, then you'd say, sure, that's the way it goes, and you get a lot of money from TV. Alabama's, this will be the 12th since 2014, since the SEC network was formed and became involved in the television scheduling. Alabama's had 12 non-conference games at home in September. 11 of them have been day games. They played Colorado State at 6:00. Everything else has been a day game. I hadn't, finished. I've started, but it looks like the average kickoff temperature for those games has been about 92 degrees. So it's a little hotter this weekend.
Well,
same time frame since 2014, LSU's also played 12 non-conference games in September at home. Every single one of them kicked off at night. Every one. So it's not random. It's not random. And what they're telling me now is, there was some kind of deal with LSU. LSU's always played night games. Well, that's great. Good for them. Good for their tradition. But let's see if it can't be more equitable in the future.
Well, and
for teams.
I think bringing the attention will probably
and certainly don't. Last thing, certainly don't complain about the attendance. That's what you're going to do if you're going to put it on television. At 3:00 and it's 97 degrees. Don't complain if somebody decides they want to sit at home in the air conditioning.
Well, Cecil, it was such a focus of the conversations. You and I were down in Sandestin. The conversation was there. All these athletic directors, and they talked about alcohol and trying to fix it, or at least giving some maybe some advantages to some of those schools. And then you look back at the conversation. It's been a big off-season topic about attendance and a drop and trying to get that average back up. And as you point out, I'm going to ask the audience today, if this game was late in the evening, would you be more likely to attend? I think the answer would be simply yes.
Yeah, probably so. Again, it's different if they were, and credit to Greg Byrne because the schedule is changing. And when it's in a few years, when Texas coming to town or Wisconsin, that dynamic is going to be different. I understand that. I understand it. But, I'm more interested right now in the short term and in trying to understand what's going on. I'm not complaining. I get to sit in the press box. It's a tremendous advantage to having to sit in those East stands for 3 hours. So I respect everybody who decides to go and support their team. I think that's great. I encourage that. But it's tough conditions, and I'm trying to stick up for people who want to do that. So we'll see how that all works out. We've got to. You get down these wormholes, and it's too early to worry about this. We'll worry about it Sunday or Monday on what the next weekend with the Southern Miss game will be. So that's an interesting SEC slate of games coming up that weekend. So we'll see how on the 21st. So we'll see how that works.
You ever think about a true advantage? I mean, if you're playing all night games, there's got to be a physical toll. There's got to be some type of measurement that's more of an advantage if you play night games than you do in the middle of the day. Like, I mean, there's got to be something there that is a physical toll that it takes on your body to go through the afternoon games rather than the night games.
Well, that would be. I think that's true. I think it would be hard to quantify, but Alabama is going to turn around. It's already scheduled next weekend, and it'll be hot in Columbia. I don't know what the temperature will be. They're 2:30 in Columbia, and it wouldn't surprise me if they were during the day against Southern Miss. And yeah, it wears you down a little bit.
See, so let me go back to Duke. Just kind of your biggest takeaway to give you some flexibility to go back and look at that game. What was your biggest takeaway from Alabama and Duke?
Well, I don't know that I had a single takeaway. You try and analyze every group, and I thought Tua played well. I'm thinking offense first here. Tua played well. The offensive line's a work in progress, which is not surprising when you have new guys trying to work in and trying to get into the rotation. I did not think it was the best day for the running back. That may have had something, the suspensions may have had something to do with that. As far as guys, I asked Nick Saban, you were at the press conference, and I asked Nick about that on Monday. And while he didn't seem to think it was necessarily related to them getting into a rhythm, you could also tell he didn't think they played very well. Just from the tone, I'm not, putting words into his mouth, but he certainly talked about how they needed to improve. So I didn't think it was their best game. The receivers are tremendous. I've said this all week. I am not a believer in Heisman rankings or how would you vote the first week of the season. Nobody's come remotely close to seeing all the players. I certainly haven't seen all the players who might be qualified. I saw the way that Labor Day weekend stretches out. You do get to see a lot of games, which is good. Got to see all of Jalen's game. Got to see all of Ian Book's. Got to see a little bit of Clemson. Got to see, obviously, the SEC games. And the best football player I saw, at his position, changing a game, was Jerry Jeudy, best football player in the country that I saw last weekend. Now, obviously, Tua has something to do with that as well. But I didn't see anybody, whether it was Travis Etienne or anybody else who I looked at and said, that's a great guy at his position, any more than Jerry Jeudy. Now, Jerry Jeudy probably not going to win the Heisman. I'm not all into that in the first week anyway. But he was a difference maker and a very exciting player to watch, what he could do, and at a different level. Now, again, I didn't see Jacob Eason. I didn't see Jonathan Taylor at Wisconsin. I didn't see a lot of performances that were probably outstanding performances. So plenty of time for that to shake out. But to bring it around to your question, I thought the wide receivers were very good. I thought Devonta Smith was good. I thought, for John Mechie to even get on the field with that group and make a catch was excellent. And he's going to be really good. The tight ends were involved in the offense. So I thought that part of it was a positive. Defensively, I thought the freshman linebackers that everybody had their eye on did a good job. Assignment football, they weren't perfect, but I thought they were very good and obviously very athletic. Nick Saban was asked earlier this week about depth on the defensive line, and I think that's an issue. I think you'll see more guys play for a variety of reasons against New Mexico State because they really went with that starting rotation plus Mathis for a long time in that game. So those were some of the takeaways.
See, so let's go to running back depth, and I know you've written about running backs on TideSports.com. One of your articles this week, Saban looks to improve the running game. Hopefully that's able the case against New Mexico State. But how concerned are you when you look at that depth of that backfield back there?
Well, I don't know that concern is the right word. I mean, they still have high-quality, highly recruited running backs. I think Keelan Robinson will improve. He's a freshman, and the expectations need to be what they are for a freshman. They have two guys who have good experience, not unlimited experience, but Najee has played in big games. Brian Robinson, who I thought had probably the best run on his best run on that little pass reception uh, down the right sideline where he broke some tackles, showed really good balance. I think he'll be fine, but we'll see how that works out. So I don't know that it's worried. It's unfortunate that Trey Sanders isn't available this year. I'd be really fascinated to see how he fits into that rotation.
Let's go back to the defensive side of the football. Take a look at those two youngsters at linebackers and kind of evaluate from your perspective their performance.
Well, like I said, I thought fundamentally it was good, and athletically they're outstanding. Again, they're not perfect. They probably didn't grade 100%, but I thought they certainly didn't show anything that makes you say, oh no, you can't play these guys. I think you can. I think those guys, first of all, not comparing them to Dylan Moses, but even if Dylan and Josh were healthy, those guys would have played some because they're good enough, and they're certainly athletic enough and will be good enough against New Mexico State. They'll make a few mistakes, but they'll be fine. Again, don't know what the depth is behind them. Jalen Moody played a little bit. You really didn't see Ali Cahill play very much. Played on offense, played a little bit, but didn't play much on defense. So again, it's a question of who's going to step up. Knock wood if those guys aren't healthy. But I thought those two, for the time they were on the field, I thought they were excellent.
Hey, see, so outside of the University of Alabama, just around college football, I mean, a lot of upsets happening this opening weekend, and I don't think there's any bigger than what's happening up in Tennessee. I've got some friends of mine that are in talk radio and part of that media business up there. Looks like Jeremy Pruitt's already off to a pretty bad start in 2019. I mean, if BYU comes to town and finds a way to win that game, you start looking at that schedule, and I know it's way too early to panic, but you could see where he could get in trouble pretty quick if things don't go that way in their way in Knoxville.
Well, you would hope, Ryan, that it wouldn't take a game like Georgia State to be a wake-up call. You would hope, particularly in your season opener, that your team would be prepared and ready to play and look sharp. And Tennessee didn't do that. So that's what I'd be looking for. I saw BYU against Utah, and they're pretty good defensively. I thought that Utah wore them down. Utah's a better team. Tennessee's a favorite in this game. I think Garantano can do some things, and I think Tennessee can win this game. But if they come out with another effort like they had last Saturday, that's when you really start to ask what's going on behind the scenes. Why are their guys not buying in? You can shrug one off, but when it becomes a pattern, two things will happen for Tennessee. First, there are obvious questions that raise, and second, they're about to get into the league and SEC play, and then it's just not just about effort. You have a good effort and just not be good enough. I guess they've got Florida the next week in what used to be, in our memory, a big game in the SEC. I don't know where it is now. Florida. Remember when Florida and Tennessee was the game?
Sure.
The
Absolutely.
national game, the one that was going to settle the SEC East before the end of September. People don't look at it that way anymore.
Well, see, so I'll ask you this question, then I'll let you go. You look at the SEC. I know it may be a down year in some of these teams, but you've still got a lot of quality teams in this league. But I guess this weekend it could all change if Texas A&M can find a way to go and keep it respectable over in Clemson, South Carolina, have a chance to win the game. LSU going to Texas. 2 road trips to the SEC has a chance to earn instant credibility going into week number 2 or coming out of week number 2.
Yeah, those are big games. I don't, what happened in the first week. Tennessee was disappointing. Not a good loss from Missouri to go to Laramie and lose. I wasn't shocked that Memphis beat Ole Miss. Memphis was the favorite, and that's a rivalry game, certainly on Memphis' side of it. So that's a tough way to open. So I don't know that we definitively learned that the SEC is down and we closed the book on that. in week 1. I think it provides you some data that'll get built on in week 2 and week 3 when Georgia plays Notre Dame. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I think the top teams in the SEC are still, particularly the SEC West, are still really good.
Cecil Hurt, Tuscaloosa News, TideSports.com. Cecil, as always, we thank you so much for your time. We'll see you Saturday. And listen, if you get some of these day games moved to the night, I mean, we might put you as a grand marshal of the Christmas parade in Tuscaloosa.
We'll see. I don't know if I can do anything about this year, but we'll see. In the future, we'll see how it works out. But yeah, I think people would like it not to be 98 degrees for the football game.
100%. Appreciate the advocacy that you're doing out there. We appreciate it. Thank you, Cecil. Have a great day.
No problem.
Thank you.
Sure.